have a client that only eats puree food because she doesn't have any teeth, but she wants ribeye steak. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna give her a ribeye steak? If you're gonna give her a ribeye steak, you don't need this job. Hey you guys, it's your girl MV Go. Ooh, that's not my name anymore. Hey you guys, it's your girl Michelle Sulan. Ooh, that's my first time ever introducing myself like that, y'all. Up until this point, I've been MV Goldie, but I'm, doing a little bit of a rebrand. And I'm just really excited and blessed for this new chapter. Now, about 3 years ago, I made a DSP video that you guys really seem to enjoy. Like, I'm so glad that I was able to help you and that you were able to find value in my content. I've been getting so many questions, so I just put a couple of FAQs together and I'm going to answer them regarding the DSP position. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Before we get into it, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on my post notification bell so that you'll be notified every time that I post. And yeah, so let's just jump right into this. The first question is, what is a direct support professional? I already answered that in the last video, but to like briefly summarize it, a DSP is the staff in a group home. Group home staff are direct support professionals. Group home for intellectual or developmental disabilities. The people who work with these clients are direct support professionals. They assist with transportation, meals, administering medication, appointments, de-escalating in the household, things of that nature. I did a very thorough description of what a DSP does in that video. Do you need a degree or a certification to be a DSP? No, not from my experience. I got my first DSP job straight after I graduated from high school, and then any certifications that they required I got through the job. So in order to be able to administer the medication, you have to take a class, which is through the job. You also have to be CPR certified and first aid certified, basic life support, which I received through the job as well. And then there are like Relias trainings that we have to do, which like if you're a CNA or, did any type of like nursing or DSP, then you're familiar with Relias, and it's like annually you have to do a certain amount of trainings. It's really annoying and it gets tedious, but it's not, it doesn't take a rocket scientist. How much do DSPs get paid? Chill. I haven't been a DSP in about 3 years now, which is crazy. Damn, time is flying. When I was working as a DSP in 2020 during COVID, I was making $11 an hour, y'all. But I was always at work. I was running up them shifts, so my checks were sufficient. But in terms of hourly rate, yeah, I was making $11 an hour. I've seen jobs paying up to maybe like $18 an hour for DSP. I haven't really seen too many that's paying more than that. Usually they offer a shift differential, so you'll make more if you work overnight than on the morning or afternoon shift. Worked at a DSP job where I received, I think I started off at $14 an hour and then I got a raise to $16 an hour, and that was my ballpark. Yeah, 40 hours a week at $10 to $16 an hour. I would advise you that if you're at an agency that pays less, request for you to have higher functioning clients. I mean, that's what I did. I feel like if my clients need more support, I need to be getting paid more for that. You know what I mean? Because it's more work than if my client pretty much just needs a chaperone and maybe somebody to give them their meds and cook their food, Like, I've had clients who were very independent. They only needed me to give them their medication, but they knew what time they were supposed to get meds. They were coming ready, on time for their meds, and they were making their own meals. Or I had a client that would go to work. He was only at work for about an hour a day. And I would just go and I would stay with him because he was a one-to-one. And then afterwards, he would ask to stop at the store so he can get himself a sub. He loved him a little BLT. And he used to get him his little BLT, his chips. And then I used to take him home. He had his own money. And then I've had clients who were nonverbal and, they needed more assistance. They needed help with bathing. They needed constant supervision because of behaviors like impulsivity, putting their hands in the toilet, just random impulsive things. Elopement, that's a big one too in the group home. So I would just say, if you don't have any experience, if you can, just request a home with higher functioning clients, because you don't have experience. Like, you're getting your feet wet. But I would recommend anybody to say that, because the worst thing they can say is no. And it's like, okay, cool. Is training provided or do you learn on the job? They have orientation. They tell you about like the personal spending record, the documentation, things of that nature. But when I first started, I do believe I was trained. But it's kind of hard to train somebody while you're in somebody's house. Like, it's not really like a I don't know, but they did train me, yes, and it was on the job training. Like, you have to do it in order to get better. And from my experience, I wasn't really ever alone. So like, for example, if every day when we come on shift, we have to count their PSR, personal spending record. So if I have a client named Jane Doe, I need to go through Jane's money, count how much money she got, and document it. We do that on every shift. Why? To make sure they're not being exploited. Like, we're trained on how to do things and what the expectations are, yes. But you learn on the job as well. Does that make sense? I hope it does. What kind of clients do you work with? I've had clients with Down syndrome. I've had a nonverbal autistic client. I had different intellectual or developmental disabilities where people might need help, but it's very diverse. I've had a client with paranoid schizophrenia. What kind of tasks do you do on a daily? I think I spoke in depth about that, and I actually have a day in the life of a DSP video. I will link it in the eye if you're interested. But when I worked the morning shift, I would come in overnight, already had prepared breakfast and gave medication. If they didn't give meds for whatever reason, then I would give meds. And then they would, honestly, my clients would just be chilling. Like, they either be watching the news or, you know, drinking coffee or whatever. I'm like, hey, you want to come to the store? You want to go? We need groceries. Y'all want to go to grocery shopping? Yes, if they want to come. No, if they don't want to come, you know. But yeah, I mean, I kind of showed you guys one of my more active jobs as a DSP. I came and I cooked them dinner. I gave them medication. And then they went to bed. Like, it's a really, really laid back job. Like, I would say the evening, like right before they go to bed, and the overnight is like piece of cake. Now, as far as daytime, when your clients are like really awake, it's pretty easy too. Like, you know, if they have an appointment, you take them to the doctor's appointment, you bring their documentation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the doctors are familiar with the clients. It's really easy, y'all. It's like, it's probably the easiest job I ever had in my life. And then you have to document. Documentation is key. Documentation will make or break your job. Like, if you don't document, you will lose your job. Is the job emotionally hard or draining? It can be, depending on how frequently your clients have behaviors, depending on if you start to really, you know, care for your clients and they start to decline. That could be very emotionally draining or taxing. Yeah, I mean, I would say it does get, like, being in the helping profession, no matter what you do, you're going to experience some sort of burnout. So I would just say, like, don't overdo it. It's really easy to overdo it because the shifts be available. But don't overdo it. Don't burn yourself out. But for the most part, it wasn't really emotionally draining or hard. No, I wouldn't say that at all. What are the work hours like? Are they flexible? There's some companies have 2 shifts. It would be like a 7 to 7, you know, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and then the 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. Some would have like a 8 to 8, 8 to 8. Or others would have like a 7 to 3, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. I would say they're pretty flexible. They offer full-time, part-time, and PRN positions. PRN means as needed, and you pick your own shifts. They would have like some parameters, like you have to work at least 3 weekends. You have to work at least 6 days in a month. So you just have to become familiarized with your company's policies. Can you choose your schedule or clients? If you're a PRN, you choose your schedule. You can not choose your clients. I don't really understand what you mean by that. Like, no. Like, if there's 3 clients living in a house, you just kind of, you know, you'll work with all of them. And you're also not assigned to a home, at least from my experience. Like, so you might get moved around. You may not be with the same clients every single day because, you know, depending on the needs of the agency, they might be like, oh, can you actually come over to this house or whatever. That's another thing. The different houses were paid different amounts. What is the hiring process like? The hiring process, calm. They're just going to ask you, like, if you know how to cook certain meals, if you know, like, what kind of meals can you cook. If your client is frustrated and they won't take their medication, what do you do? The best thing to do would be give them about 15 minutes, ask them again. because you can give the medication an hour before or an hour after, but you cannot give it any further than that. So for example, if the client's supposed to have the medication at 3 o'clock every day, you can give the client the medicine at 2, or you can give the client the medicine at 4. You can give the client the medicine at 2:30. You can give the client the medicine anywhere between that hour window. So just give them some time, reoffer it, and if they don't want it, they don't want it. They have the right to refuse. You just have to document that they refused their medication. But yeah, the hiring process was a piece of cake, honestly. Like, the questions are like basic. Like if if you can't answer them questions, I don't know what to tell you. Like, you have a client that only eats pureed food because she doesn't have any teeth, but she wants ribeye steak. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna give her a ribeye steak? If you're gonna give her a ribeye steak, you don't need this job, because our job is to protect these people. Like, I know you want a ribeye, maybe Miss Man, maybe I can make you some mashed potatoes and put some gravy on top or something. You know, I don't know. We gonna figure it out, but yeah, it's our job to ensure the safety of our clients. Do you need a driver's license or your own car? Yes, you need a driver's license. Driving is a major part of this job. Certain agencies may have company vehicles. Others may require you to use your own vehicle, and then they'll do like mileage reimbursement. I've never done that. I would never do that. I just would prefer a company vehicle. Keep it all the way, because the mileage is cool and all, but that doesn't accommodate for the wear and tear that it puts on your car. And like, what if this client get mad one day and start punching your window, or I just wouldn't advise it. But that's up to you. I'm not saying all clients are violent either. Some of them are really well behaved, so I'm not saying you would have a problem like that, but I'm just saying from my own personal experience, I never wanted to use my own car. Can you do this part-time while in school? You could do it full-time while in school. You could do it part-time while in school. You could do it PRN while in school, but you could do it full-time while in school. Like, there's so much downtime that you'll probably be able to do some of your assignments while your client's sitting there watching TV. Like, when I tell you the job is so laid back, y'all, it's so laid back. Obviously just make sure that you're attentive and not drowning out your client, because you need to know what's going on. But like, yeah, like if you could do a little assignment and your client's sitting there chilling, eating dinner, you better do that, girl. You better go ahead and do that. What do you wear to work? Is there a dress code? No, there was no dress code. You can wear whatever you want. Jeans, Crocs, sneakers, dress. Just dress like, appropriately. Obviously, don't walk up in these people's house and just dress how you would dress for work or for school. Like, just be appropriate. I wouldn't really wear like too many pants with like distressed jeans, like ripped jeans and stuff. Just look like casual, but not too casual because you're at work. Is it safe to work in this field? From my experience, yes. How do you avoid burnout in this job? Like I said before, just take your days off. Like, don't overdo it. Shifts will be available, but you got to take care of yourself and your own mental health and your own physical health. Like, you cannot live at work. We do not live to work. Okay, we work to live, so just don't lose sight of that. Would you recommend being a DSP long term? No. It's a good job, yes, but it doesn't pay well enough, I feel like, to be a long-term plan. Some places, like if you stay for a certain amount of time, you might get raises. I don't know, but from my experience, I was only a DSP for a couple years. So I was a DSP for 3 years, yeah. It was a cool job, don't get me wrong. Like, especially for my age, I had to readjust my camera because it started getting hot, y'all. So I apologize for the change in the angle. But yeah, those are all of the questions that I have for today. If you have any additional questions about direct support professional, please feel free to comment them down below and I will get back to you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope I could be helpful. Before you leave, if you haven't already, make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on my post notification bell so that you will be notified every time I post. Okay, you guys, I'll see you in my next one. Bye.